Hi, I'm the Last Goth Unicorn, and today I wanted to talk about my genuine TBR. So, if you watched my last video, you would know that I was like, I'm going to finish all of these books that I have barely started. I'm not going to do that. Um, I decided that I would not be doing that because a lot of the books were not striking me in any specific way at the moment, and I had gotten so few pages into them, I'm like, I can reread that easy peasy. And, you know, I just felt like treating myself and giving myself a new TBR that would get me more excited about reading. So that's what I did. Um, I did decide to finish two books, or try to finish two books, or three technically. One I DNF'd, one I finished, and one I'm still working on. But there are three books that I will briefly mention here to kind of set the stage for the ones that I decided to continue. So one of them, the one that I DNF'd, is I decided not to finish Giants in the Earth because frankly it was really boring and really slow, which I do love in a book, but the aspects of it that I was really interested in was like the really sad, miserable, like interpersonal issues that the family was having. And a lot of it started veering away from that into like Perhansa selling potatoes or Perhansa trying to start a school and like stuff like that. And I just was like not interested in a whole like 50% of the book at that point. So I decided it was the best if I just stopped reading it and called it at about 200 pages. So goodbye, Giants in the Earth. But that's okay because I've been carrying that book around with me for like genuinely 10 years. And so it feels really good to have that one out of my library. The next book that I actually finished was Piranesi. I did finish that a couple days ago. Very good book. I am excited to talk about it more in my end of the month wrap up. And then this is the other book that I am deciding to continue from my previous TBR is Titan by John Varley. The reason I chose to continue this one instead of putting it away is I was 50 pages in or more than 50 pages in. And typically my rule for reading and like DNFing books is 5 chapters or 50 pages. And I was enjoying it. And so I said, I can hold on to this one and keep reading it. And I've actually gotten a little over 100 pages in now, and it's pretty good. I don't know if I would call it like fantastic, but it's also like sci-fi, especially long form sci-fi is not really my genre. I like a good speculative fiction short form for the most part. This is really bold coming from me because the Locked Tomb series is my favorite book series. But for the most part, I like my sci-fi bite-sized. I like it very short for the most part. Which is why I really jive with Murderbot and I liked Volatile Memory a lot. So this one is a little bit longer than that, and it is so far it's treating me well. It's definitely getting into what I call John Varley-isms. And honestly, that's helping me a lot with the process because I find John Varley endlessly fascinating. So that is the other book I decided to continue reading. I'm just going to share what I rolled for my TBR now. This is in no particular order. This is just kind of the set of books that got rolled for me, and I wanted to talk about each of them a little bit and just kind of discuss them and if I think I'm going to be able to finish them this month. So first we've got Earthlings by Sayaka Murata. And I'm so sorry if I said that name wrong. I am really excited about this book and I think I could finish it this month because honestly, it sounds like right up my alley. I really jive with a young girl who believes she's from an alien planet or feels like she's from an alien planet. That's something that I really relate to. And I'm really fascinated by the kind of weird, I don't know, all of the like weird little details that are on the back of this page or the back of this book. I find so interesting. And I'm really excited to get the opportunity to read this book. And I'm really hoping that I read it this month and I get through it. So I'm putting this one up as pretty high on my possibility of actually finishing. Next is The Gilded Crown. And I am excited to read this book. I have been excited to read it since I got it like a year ago almost at this point. I am really scared of it because it sounds like it's right up my alley. There's necromancy, there's a princess, there's a toxic relationship. That sounds right up my alley. I am really scared that the execution is not going to be what I hope it is. So I am putting that as probably kind of middle of the road of me actually getting into it and finishing it this month. Next is Beloved by Toni Morrison. This one I think I could start this month. I don't have a lot of hope for finishing it because I feel like the heavy subject matter is going to make it very difficult to read in a timely fashion. And I think that's okay. I'm really excited to give this a try. We'll see how that turns out. Next is This Is How You Lose the Time War. I think I could read this easy peasy. I think if I sit down with this book for a day, it'll be done. And I'll probably be in shambles. But that's only because of my assumption of The River Has Roots. This book, I think I could easily finish in like a full day. Let's see. I was like, I think it's like $1.99. Yeah, it looks like it's about 200 pages. That should be easy for me to finish. A 200-page book, pretty easy. The next book I got for my TBR is The Tenant of Windfell Hall by Anne Bront, and which might be Anne Bronte or Bronte. But yeah, I've been looking for a copy of this book that was like a reasonable price, and I finally found one. So if you don't recognize this book, mind your business. And I'm actually really interested in this. I want to see how the writing style compares to Emily Bront, if it's similar. I'm interested in the toxic social dynamics that it seems that this family liked to write about. I don't believe I will end up liking it as much as I liked Wuthering Heights, but we will see, because I do genuinely want to read this. I don't have a ton of hope that I'd be able to finish it this month, but I'm thinking about making it my purse book. So we will see. Because honestly, I don't think I should be reading this in public with some of its material. And then the last book for my TBR is Pride and Prejudice, which is another book that I just recently got because I finally found a really cheap copy. I was going to steal a copy from my mom, only to discover she doesn't own it. She made me watch the movie 100 times as a child, and she doesn't even own the book. She's never read it. Anyway, I got Pride and Prejudice because I've wanted to read it because I feel like I will enjoy it. And yeah, that's it. I roughly know what it's about because of the movie, but who knows? And when I say the movie, I mean the one with Keira Knightley, because that was the one my mom was really obsessed with. The 2004 version. Anyway, it'll be fun to read that because I've been really into reading the book versions of movies that I was like forced to watch when I was a child. Like, I read The Phantom of the Opera recently, or last year. Was that this year or last year? I read The Phantom of the Opera at some point, and I enjoyed it until the story got to like a really crazy climax, and then immediately fucking dropped straight off to talk about a letter for like 40 pages. It was ridiculous, genuinely. Um, but yeah, that's my little TBR for this upcoming month. The books I think I'm most likely to finish are genuinely Earthlings and This Is How You Lose the Time War, and that's mostly just based on length. I do think I have a good amount of hope for finishing The Tenant of Windfell Hall as well. And I do really want to start Beloved, so we'll see how that actually goes. I don't have the most hope for Pride and Prejudice and The Gilded Crown. Those ones I think I'm going to really struggle with for a couple of reasons. But I think that I should have fun with this. I got a lot of classics this month. But I think that the kind of distribution of genres is pretty good. Other than 3 classics, the other distribution of genres seems good for me. It is both of my like final sci-fi books with Titan and This Is How You Lose the Time War. But that happens. Not everyone can read sci-fi all the time. And I certainly can't. I don't like sci-fi very much. Yeah, I think that'll do it for me. Thank you so much for being here if you watched this video, and I hope to see you in a later one when I can update you on any of these books that I've read. I plan to hopefully do a video on John Varley, actually. I just recently found out that he died, like, kind of recently. And I don't know. I also found out that his birthday is really close to mine, so I wanted to kind of do a video in honor of him for that, so we'll see. But anyway, thank you so much for being here if you watched this whole video. And yeah, that's it. Remember to stay off-putting and stay obscene.